Iris. We're here to give you a brief overview of the program and answer any type of questions you have regarding the software. So let's go ahead and get started here. Right now I just put up a quick demo to show you what you can do with the Iris program. I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch to show you how the program works. So I hit new here. Now if you're working with the Iris program, you're most likely working with the CT or GT series, which stands for color text or grayscale text type sign. Today I'm going to be working on a color, but the ideas and concept for the program is going to be the same for a grayscale sign. So when you first get started with a program, this is what you're going to see. One most important part when working with a program is to determine the type of sign as far as matrix size that you're working with. Everybody's going to be working with a different type of sign. Right now I'm working with a 24 by 96, which is a 24 pixel high by 96 pixel wide sign. We usually refer to our signs by the matrix size. So when working with this program, you want to make sure that the formatting for your sign is set correctly before you get started on creating any messages. Otherwise, the message you try to put up there won't look complete or look right on your sign. So when you first open up the program, this is what you're going to see. And again, this is for first time setup. Once you have it set up correctly, you don't have to worry about that anymore. So the most important part is when you first run the program is to go to setup and go to sign setup. That is assuming if you have communication all set up and everything. This is all about just the software. You first run that and go to sign setup. Under command, or actually under setup, you're going to see resolution. And you want to make sure which type of model you're working with. And on the model name, it gives a number times a number at the very end. And that's going to be the matrix size to your sign. And that's the most important part when creating your messages. Right now, again, I'm working on a 24 pixel high sign and a 96 pixel wide sign, which is 24 by 96. You could be working on a 16 by 80, 8 by 64, etc. So you want to make sure that you keep that noted so you can put the right matrix size in there to get you the right formatting for your sign. So right now, again, I'm working on a 24 by 96. I'm going to put 24 by 96 here. And it gives you three different types. I'm going to be working on a full color, so RGB is selected. And then you have red 256 or yellow 256. If you're working on a single line sign, you want to keep that normal 8 pixels. If you're working with something larger, you don't have to worry about that. Just keep it at normal. You don't do anything else. So if everything's set up, just hit OK.
Yeah.
And it's going to go ahead and ask you to hit yes if you want to change it to that setup. Just hit yes. You might say if you want to save it, you don't want to save it because it might be working on a different size, a matrix size. So don't save. And this is where you're going to get started on the setup. Now let's go over to certain sections of the sign here. Program. On the very top, this menu bar right here, and just basic new file, open file, save file. You got cut, copy, and paste over here. These next buttons right here is for zooming in. Usually when you first start, it might be this small or this size. So if you want to get a closer look on your sign or message, you can hit this to zoom in on it to get it larger. Again, it is personal preference, but it gives you that option. These next few buttons right here for add frame, insert frame, or delete frame. Most likely when you're creating messages, you're going to be creating more than one slide per message. So this gives you that option to add frame, insert frame in between, or delete frames that you don't want. This next button right here is to preview all frames. You're going to be wanting to check out your message while you're creating your message. So when you're going through your message and you want to see how the whole thing looks, you hit this button here, it'll give you a pop-up window, and it'll give you a preview of all the frames that you have under your message. When you're ready to send out to the sign, you have this button right here that says send to the sign, and what it'll do is send out your message to your sign. That's assuming you have everything set up for communication. This next menu bar right here is for the advanced frame. When I get into the advanced frame, I'll explain more to this bar. This next set of buttons right here is called the hotkeys. When I get into the hotkeys or sending messages to the sign, I'll explain more to this. Now if you look to the right here, this is called the frame inspector window. What it is when you create more frames in your message, it'll keep adding to the list here on the right hand side. It'll give you an overview of your message. These buttons right here allows you to cut, copy, and paste frames. If you want to change the order of the frames, you can select certain frames and move them up and down using these buttons right here. This button right here is if you want to delete a selected frame. Now when you first run the program, you might not see that inspector window here on the right hand side. If you want to pick it up or just remove it from the window if it's in the way, just hit view and go to frame inspector. It'll bring it up or take it out from the right hand side. This middle section right here is a representation of your sign. Again, it's a 24 by 96 pixel wide sign, so it gives me that section right here of a 24 by 96. These buttons right here signify an advanced frame, which I'll get to in a bit. The B frame here is a basic frame. It gives you two types of frames you can work with while creating your message. I'm going to go ahead and explain each one and see what you can do for each one. And it's pretty much personal preference how you want to have it set up for each one. This next button here is the same as the preview all, but this is just a preview this one frame. So if you're working with multiple frames and you just want to see what this first frame or whatever frame you're working with looks like when you're creating your message, just hit preview frame and it'll show you how the animation looks and everything. This BK button here and the 30 and the stretch all have to do with backgrounds. When I get into creating backgrounds for the frames, I'll explain that to you. On the far left-hand side, you'll see a white box here. It's pretty much the height of your sign, and that is the message in, message out animation functions. What it is allows you to have scrolling text or any type of animation for that text. When I get to creating our message, I'll explain how it works and how you can set it up. One important part with animations is you have to keep in mind for your city, because some customers they have allow animations on their sign, some don't. So you want to keep in mind if your city allows you to have animations on your sign. When I get into creating animations, I'll explain that to you some more. Now here on the far right hand side is the P button, which is a property window for a basic frame. I'll get to that in a bit when I start explaining the basic frame. But so far, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so let's get started creating a message. Now, I was telling you before, you have two types of frames that you can work with, a basic frame or an advanced frame. We'll get started with the basic frame first, so you can see how you can get some basic messages out there. So right now I have a blank template. I have the B button down. When you have the B button down, that stands for a basic frame. And you want to go and start typing in your message in there. But when you click on the black frame, you don't see a cursor, you start typing, nothing pops up. The reason for that, there's a P button right here on the right hand side. That P button stands for the property window, so when you hit that window, a property window pops up. Do you guys see that? Okay, so for the property window, the meaning for this is it keeps everything encapped into this little window right here, and it lets you control everything that's in this property window for the basic frame. So right now, if I click here, you'll see a text box, and this is whatever you type into this text box is what's going to show up on the property frame, or the basic frame. So you're going to type in hello, and you'll see that hello shows up on the blank frame right here. This next section right here allows me to change the font. Right now it's Arial font. I got an option to choose whatever font I have here from the pull down menu. If I want to change it to Arial, Narrow, Earnest, or anything else, I have that option here by using this pull down menu. Right now there's a limited list of fonts. If I want to add more fonts to that list, this is what the more font button stands for. I hit this, it allows me to choose a different font that I have available on my computer. I'll keep it as Arial for now. This next section right here is a style section, and it allows you to choose a normal type font, which I have right here as an example. If you do shadow, it allows you to choose a shadow color. Right now you don't see it because I have a dark color. If you use this pull down menu to the right, it lets you choose a different color for shadow. So let's say if I go with this color, you see that it shows up as shadow. If I go to the Style tab again, I can choose outline instead of a shadow, and you'll notice that the text has an outline of it of that same color. Again, if I want to remove the shadow or outline, just go back to normal, and it'll remove that for you. If I go back to outline, I keep that color. I want to change the color of my text. I go to text color here. I'll change it to a different color, like say this one. And now I have an outline of this color and a text color. Now let's say if I want to change the background color of my window, I could do that by using the pull down menu here. And so I'll change it to a different color like so. I have a background color of this, a text color of this, and an outline, or even a shadow if I wanted to change it. If you look here on the right hand side, you'll see alignment, and you could have it to the left justified side. You can put it in the center, or put it to the right. So let's say I want to keep it in the center of the window, I could do that. And now it's in the center. But if you take a careful look at it, you'll notice that some of the text kind of cuts off at the top. If it does that by chance, you could use a font size adjust to adjust it to make it smaller. So you can pretty much keep going until it's basically the smallest it could go. Or you can keep going to make it larger. It pretty much stops at a certain time, so if you keep going up and the number goes up, it won't change. So you want to have it so the word can fit in your frame. It doesn't cut off anything. Now I'm working with a 24 by 96, so technically I could have up to 3 lines of text. How do I calculate that? I have 24 pixels high, and each line takes about 8 pixels. So if I divide that by 8, I get 3 lines. So if I want to get a second line on my message, I'll go here under text box. I go to my hello, I'll hit enter to go to second line and type in my second line. It'll automatically cut it in size, and you'll see that the second line shows up for you. If I want to go to my third line, I'll do the same thing, hit enter again, and I got my third line. And now the thing is split up into 3 lines automatically.
So is it 8 lines for all displays, basically, for a line, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically each sign is different, and you take your height by pixel, and you divide that by 8, and that'll get you how many lines available on your sign. So if you're working on a 48, divide that by 8, you get 6 lines. 16 divided by 8, 2 lines. So each line is about 8 pixels high. So let's say I want to go back to 2 lines of text. I just delete this third line right here, and I'll bring it back to 2 lines. If I want to bring it back to 1 line, just delete the second line and bring it back to 1. You'll notice that as I add more lines of text, the text gets smaller. So you want to keep in mind how you have your sign set up. If you have it high, about 40 feet, 30 feet in the air, or close to the ground, you want to keep in mind the setup of your message as far as how many lines of text and who's going to be passing by, either drivers or people walking by, and see if it's going to be easy for them to read. Because you want to put your message across there so it'll get to the point and make it easy to read as well. So let's say my sign's only about 6 feet in the air. I could probably go up to 3 lines if I wanted to, but I kind of like it having big text, so I'll keep it as 1 line. Now let's say I'm happy with the text I have here, and now I want to have it animate. So let's go to the left-hand side here, and you'll notice that the left-hand side is a white box again. I'll click on this white box right here, and a line presentation function window will pop up. For line presentation, it gives you two sections, a message in function section and a message out function section. Now for the message in function, on the message in function, you have a left-hand column right here that lets you choose different types of animation for having the text come in. So we'll try a basic one here for travel in. We'll click on that. And then let's say I want to have it leave. I'll choose a message out function. So I'll do travel out, just a basic travel in and travel out. Once I click on that, you'll notice on the bottom right here, there's a little text box that keeps filling in from whatever you put in. So you'll notice there's a capital T here for travel in, that shows up here on the bottom. You have travel out, and that shows up here on the bottom as well. It also shows it here on the bottom right-hand side, travel in, then travel out. So right now I have a travel in and travel out for my animation. And I think that's going to be okay. So what I'll do is I'll hit OK. And now when I hit OK, you'll see travel in and travel out in the white box here on the left-hand side. It used to be blank, but now since I chose a animation for the message, you'll see that it shows up here in the top. If I want to preview this message, I just hit the preview frame right here. Let me know if it doesn't show up for you. I'm going to hit play. There might be like an internet lag, so just let me know if it doesn't show up. So I can hit play here, and you'll see that it travels in and travels out. Did you guys get to catch that?
No, I didn't show up on mine, but it's no problem.
Yeah, basically what I did was, because there might be a little bit of lag. Sometimes it doesn't show up for some people. So basically what it does, it shows the frame hello, scroll in from the right-hand side, and then pass to the left.
And one question I have with that is the travel in and travel out functions the only one that will allow me to have a longer line of text go across?
Yeah, basically the travel in, travel out will be the best one.
Okay.
Probably the only one for scrolling text. But you have to keep in mind, it only works with the advanced frame. When I get to the advanced frame, I'll show you what I mean as far as the travel in, travel out. But travel in, travel out works best for scrolling text.
Thank you.
Because most of the animations they have available are just for the frame itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to preview that one more time just to show you to see if it picks up for some of you. Again, the text comes in from the right-hand side and then travels out to the left. So I'll preview that right now. It might work. All it did was scroll from the right and to the left. Now, for those who did see it, you might have noticed that there wasn't a wait function in between there. So let's go back to the animation function, and we go back to the message in function section. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a wait and pause in minutes and a wait in seconds. So if you choose to travel in, travel out, it just comes in and leaves right away. So you want to keep in mind when putting up your messages that you have to put a message in function. And then if you wanted to wait for a few seconds to show the text, choose one of these right here and then have it leave or travel out or any type of animation you want. So let's, for example, start from the beginning from here. We want to go ahead and have it travel in, and then we're going to have it wait for a few seconds. So let's go have it wait, and I want it to wait for 4 seconds. I'll type in 4 right here, and I go to travel out, and now I have travel in. It's going to wait for 4 seconds according to this chart right here, and then travel out. So if I hit OK, you'll notice that the box fills up some more with wait 4 seconds in between there now. So now I have a travel in. It's going to wait for 4 seconds and travel out. So let me go and show that to you right here. I'll hit preview frame. Hopefully it shows up for you here. It's going to travel in. It's going to wait for 4 seconds. And after 4 seconds, it'll travel out after that. Now what you want to remember on the basic frame, this animation on the left-hand side applies to everything in the frame. So let's say I go back to my message, I'll add a second line of text. Actually, I'll go and add 3 lines right here. So I have 3 lines of text right here. I have the message in functions and message out functions with a wait. And now, again, it applies to everything here. So I'll hit play. And the whole thing comes in and then leaves after that.
So there are times when you would use maybe a mix of basic frames and advanced frames in the same presentation, correct?
That is correct, yeah. You have that option here. When I get into the advanced frame, you'll see some things you can do that you can't do on the basic frame. So it's pretty much personal preference how you want it to do, but most likely it's going to be a mix of the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so right now, let's recap on the basic frame. Basic frame is here. You have the B button pushed down. This P button right here on the right-hand side stands for property window. So everything in this window right here is going to be controlling the basic frame. You got basic text up here, which you can do up to how many lines of your maximum for your sign. You just got to type in each line. You can choose any type of font you want here. If you want to pick out some more fonts, just hit the More Font button, and it gives you more of a selection that's available on your computer. If you choose a style, you have that option to do normal, shadow, or outline, along with a color. You can't do two at the same time. You have to do one of either or. Text color applies to everything in the frame. So once you choose your text color, that's going to be everything in the frame. That's going to be the same for the background color. That's going to be everything for the background. If you want to change your alignment, you got that ability to put it left, center, or right. And if you want to adjust the font size, you have that ability here. Animation, everything here is going to be on the white box. You click on that, it'll let you choose between any type of function here for message in and message out functions. If you want to have it so it comes in and waits, you have that ability here by choosing the pause and wait function. As you get more proficient with the program, you'd probably start memorizing some of these letters. So you can just type it in here without having to click on here if you want to. Now if you want to adjust the speed of the animation, you got from fast to slow, you just got to hit that value after the fact. So let's say I go to my animation, I'll do travel in. I have it go slow, like at a 7 speed. And then have it wait again for 4 seconds. And then have it travel out. Actually, let me choose a different animation here, like auto out. And then have it auto out slow also. So you'll notice that whatever I click here is going to show up here in the bottom right again. I'll hit OK. And now my animation functions change here on the left-hand side. So if I were to preview that, it's going to come in, travel in at a slower speed this time because I chose 7. Hopefully it shows up for you guys. It'll wait for 4 seconds and leave automatically at a random animation.
And when you have it set on auto and it chooses a random animation, does it work its way through all the animation styles, or just the one that's works with that particular design?
And it pretty much goes through everything. It's just a randomizer.
Okay.
Yeah. So does anybody else have any questions regarding the basic frame? The most important part about the basic frame is that everything that you see here is what you're going to be putting out there. You were talking about getting scrolling text out there, so let me show you an example of scrolling text. So if you extend your first line here, you notice that the text gets pushed back to the left and to the right, and keep in mind what you see here as far as the message. I got hello, this is a test message, so it's cutting off the right and cutting off the left. So I use the travel in function for that and travel out. I'm going to hit preview frame, and you'll notice that it's only showing what was in the frame. It's not showing whatever's cut off on the edges.
That's why we would want the advanced for that particular message style, right?
Yeah, for that particular message style, you want to use the advanced frame. So again, whatever you see here on this frame is going to be shown on the basic frame. Everything is pretty much basic, meaning it's all in this window right here. You control everything in this window. That's what the basic frame is for. Some people like to use the basic frame. It's pretty easy because you just put what you want there and put it out there. Some people like to use the advanced frame. So it's pretty much personal preference. It's a little easier with importing fonts with a basic frame by using this pull down menu here. And you can do a full background color with a basic frame as well. Does anybody have any questions with the basic frame? Okay, so let's get started with the advanced frame. So what you always want to do is save your file. You never know what's going to happen, so you want to keep a backup. So I'll just do save as. I'll save this file as something. Give it today's date here. Save the file so you get back to it later. And now let's get started with the advanced frame.
Oh, one quick question for you. When I save a sign file, do I have to keep that within the Iris software, or can I move it to my documents like you just did?
No, you can move it anywhere you want.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Even to my desktop if I wanted, right?
Yeah, I had it moved to the desktop because it's easier to pick up.
Okay.
So I just put it there. You can put it in a folder and put it all together in one area so it's more organized for you. Okay, so we have our basic frame down. We're going to go ahead and add another frame here. So we can go up to the top, hit add frame. I can go up to frame at the top here, add frame here. Or if I want an advanced frame, I know for sure I can do add A frame here. So either way will work. So let's say this is add B frame. I want to change it to an advanced frame. I go hit this A button right here. It'll convert it to an advanced frame. Now keep in mind, in a basic frame, you got this P button right here, and this window covers everything within the basic frame. On the advanced frame now, if you hit this P button, nothing will pop up. The P button or property window only applies to the basic frame. When working with an advanced frame, everything here on this top menu bar will control the advanced frame. So if you want to get started with text, just click on the advanced frame. You'll see a flashing cursor. And by default, it already cuts the lines for you. So right now I have 3 lines of text. This button right here, in addition to the advanced frame, is there as opposed to the basic frame where it's not there. If you want to hit these buttons right here, this is for dividing the lines. So these are divider lines for the frame. So if I want to go in my advanced frame and start typing in text, I'll type in my first line, just like the first one. If I want my second line, it's already there. I'll just type in my second. I can go to my third. Now just like the basic frame, if I want to change the color of my text, highlight the line I want, and I can change the color. Compared to the basic frame, where you choose a color and it applies to everything, on the advanced frame you can do each individual line. So if I want the second line to be one color and then third line to be another color, I can do that too. I have that ability. If I want to change the background of it, I can do that too. I go to this section where it says back, and I'll change it to a different color. Now I don't see anything here because I don't have anything highlighted. I just click on it and then highlight that to be a different color. Now if it changes by accident, you can always change it back to the original color that you wanted. Now the background only applies to the text that you have highlighted. If you want to keep it to a different color, like say for the rest of the line, just hit the space bar and it'll fill it up. So you can do that to get it a full background color. If you don't want it, just delete these spaces right here. And it'll keep it as is. So if you want to change the background color for each line, you have that ability to also. So as opposed to the basic frame where text color applies to everything, background color applies to everything, you can change the background color and text color for each one as well by using these foreground and background pull down menus. So if you want to remove it, just hit black again, it'll remove everything and you can change the colors back to how you want it. If you want to bold the text, just highlight the text you want, hit the bold button right here. It'll make it bold, but it'll actually double the size. Because each letter takes about an 8x8 section, roughly. So if you hit bold, it'll actually double the amount of pixel it requires. So you can put bold on one end, you can keep it regular text here, and keep it another end over here as a different type of text. But you have that option here if you want to have it bold. Now if you want to have the text flash, you can highlight some text like the second line. I'll do it flash. Highlight, hit flash right here, and you notice that the line looks like it's in jail. What that means is telling you that it's a flashing. So if I were to preview that, it might flash really quick. If not, I'll show it to you in a little bit. But you have that option if you want a specific line to start flashing during its animation. You just highlight the line you want and hit the flash button. If you want to remove it, just highlight the same line and hit the flash button again to remove that function. If you want to do rainbow text on your frame, just highlight the text you want. Let's say I want rainbow text on everything. Just highlight everything here, hit the rainbow text button. It'll randomize the colors for rainbow. And again, this is on a full color sign. It works the same way on a grayscale, yellow or red. It'll just make it in different shades of yellow or red. So if you want to remove that, highlight the text again and hit the random color text button, and it'll bring it back to how it was before, a solid color. If you want to do shadow or outline, just like in the basic frame, you have the ability to highlight the text, and over here the shadow or outline function. So if you want to add shadow to the first line, highlight the text, hit shadow, and you can choose the color you want. If I want to have an outline around this one, I'll do that. So I highlight it, hit outline, and I have an outline behind the text here. And on advanced frame, you can do both at the same time if you wanted to. So if you want an outline and a shadow, just make sure you push down both buttons. And I got a shadow and an outline behind this text. If I want to remove all that, just highlight it all. Just keep pressing the button so it removes everything. And you should be all good, just like I was before on plain text. Now let's get back to the divider lines on the advanced frame. If you look, I have it divided into 3 lines of text. If I hit this button right here, it'll combine lines 1 and 2 to make one large line. So if I hit that, you'll see that it makes one large line. So for presentation-wise, you kind of mix it up for like a big line, small line if you wanted to. If I want to bring it back to 3 lines of text, hit this button, divider. It'll bring it back to 3 lines. If I want to combine lines 2 and 3 together, I'll hit this divider line right here. And now lines 1 is by itself, and lines 2 and 3 are combined.
Quick question: when you combine lines, like you just did on the between the second and third,
yeah.
What happens to like the third, for example? I don't see it follow the second.
No, it doesn't actually follow; it gets removed.
Okay. Okay. So then
you're pretty much combining lines 2 and 3 together to make one large line. So you're basically just making a 2-line sign right now.
Okay. So whatever was on the second line would be the default type.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to have an equal distance between each other, that's going to be best with a basic frame. If you notice on the basic frame, if I have 2 lines of text, it kind of puts it as an equal amount. As opposed to on an advanced frame, you could kind of do either or, like big line, small line, or big line, or small line, big line. Basic frame works best if you want to have it combined half and half as far as presentation.
So technically with a basic frame then, you could go a bit more than 8. You'd be out of your 8 pixel width.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because on the advanced frame, everything's pretty much fixed in 8s. So if you want to combine the lines, it combines a 16 high and an 8 right here to equal 24 high. Same with this too. Now let's get to the animation part. Now on the animation part, on the basic frame, you have everything controlling the complete frame right here. On the advanced frame, there's 2 ways you can do it. If you want to have it so it comes in at the same time and leaves at the same time, what you do is go into the advanced frame and look to the button here on the top. It's called the global frame individual line button. If you want it to act like a basic frame where everything comes in at the same time and then leaves, hit this button right here, and you'll notice that the top box turns into like a dark turquoise color and then the gray color underneath. What that is telling you is that everything in this window right here will cover everything in this frame. So meaning I'll do the same thing. I'll do travel in. I'll have a wait for 4 seconds and then travel out. Hit OK. You have it travel in, wait for 4 seconds, and travel out. So that's going to apply to everything here. So I'm going to preview this frame. Hopefully it shows up for you guys, but it's going to basically do the same thing like it did for the basic frame, except that it plays in one at a time. So it plays hello, second, and third. They'll all wait together 4 seconds and then leave at the same time. So let me hit play here to show you how it works. So you have the first line coming in, you got the second line coming in, and the third line. So we'll wait 4 seconds, and then they all leave at the same time. Did you guys catch that?
Yep.
Okay, let me do it one more time just to show it to you guys if you guys didn't catch that. It's going to play the first line, play the second line, play the third line. And all 3 will wait for 4 seconds and then travel out after that. So let me play that for you one more time just in case you guys missed it. First line, and the second line comes in, and the third line. Wait for 4 seconds, and then it'll all leave at the same time. You're probably wondering what's the point of having that if you have individual lines so you can kind of cover. So let's say I remove this global frame function right here, and I go back to individual lines. So I have travel in, wait 4 seconds, and travel out. And you notice under the line, put the divider in here. And now that means I can control each individual line for an animation. So let's say I'll do weave for this one, and then I'll do a half close for that. So yeah, I got one type of animation for the first line, animation for the second line, and then I go to my third line, do something for that too. Like an auto in and then auto out. Hit OK, and now I got 3 different types of animation for each line.
Quick question there on the random or the different animations. Do you have suggestions somewhere as far as what are good combinations of, travel in, wait, zoom out, or whatever? Do you have recommendations for recipes that work the best?
It's pretty much personal preference. We don't have anything put together, but for me personally, I like the full in or full out for anything that's like the whole, if you're having the whole thing, like I have hello, second and third.
Yep.
And then I do like a full in and full out. And what that is kind of does like a fan effect for the whole thing, and then fan effect leaving. So pretty much all of these right here are pretty much for like a full screen type deal. That's why you're asking earlier about scrolling text, and travel in, travel out works the best for that. And the only way for travel in, travel out, all of the rest of the animations are more along the lines of full screen, everything coming in at the same time and leaving type deal.
Okay. Is there a way to see each one? Like a sample panning
like
through.
A little demo? No, not here. The only way to do it is if you were to click on it
right?
and just preview it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way I've been doing that. So.
Yeah, that's the only way for now.
Okay.
Now let's say I have it's split up to 3 different lines and I have an animation for each one. If I preview this, it basically treats it as 3 different frames. So it plays that first line as one frame, it plays the second line as another frame, and the third line as another frame in one large frame. So if I hit play right here, you'll see what I mean. You got the first one coming in, it waits for 4 seconds and travels out. And then once that's done, it'll go to the second line of display, and it'll go to the third line after that. You might have gone too fast. Let me show that for you again and add a wait function in between here. Again, when you have it split up, when it's not a global frame, it'll treat each line like a separate frame. So it'll play out its whole animation for the first line, go to the second line, and then go to the third line. So let me play that for you to show you how it looks. So you go to the first frame or first line, you wait till that is complete, and you'll go to the second line after that. And you go to the third line after that. Now hopefully you guys got to see how it kind of works there. Did you guys get to see it or no?
It's kind of spotty with the my internet connection, but it's no problem. We understand.
Yeah, so basically it just plays each line individually. And if you're doing it on one frame, there pretty much isn't a point to doing that. It'd be better to have it as one global frame. But the reason why they have that option there is for this. If you have multiple advanced frames under each other, so let's say I add another advanced frame under it, and another advanced frame. So let's say I'm going to combine these 2 right here. So I'll delete this second frame and make lines 1 and 2 a large without any animation. So I'll do like a main message here, like the headline or something right here, right? I could keep this second line blank. I could go to my next advanced frame under that, and I'm going to type in something here like message 1. Give it a different color. I go to message 2. And now I got my 3 layers of advanced frame. It basically works like layers. So you got first layer of one advanced frame. Second layer will be message 1. I'll put a travel in, travel out for that one. say you wanted an extended message with an extended text, like so. So I got my main headline here as a static. I got my main second message with extended text, like you were asking about the scrolling, with the travel in, travel out. We'll remove the wait function in there. So we just have travel in, travel out. And then I got my third message here, or second message under third line. And I'll just have it travel in. Well, actually, we'll choose a different one, like full open or something. Full close. So I got one frame with a headline with no animation there. I got a travel in, travel out with an extended message on the second line, put on the third position, and I got a message 2 right here for the third line as well. So if I were to view this message right here, let me put it to the front and do preview all. Let me show it to you right here. Hopefully it works. It brings up that first window with headline, and it's going to be static throughout lines 2 and 3. Did you guys see that? It might have been some type of lag in there.
Yeah, I've got a big lag going.
But basically what it does is it plays that first frame, it keeps it as static. And this stays static throughout frames 2 and 3. So you got the word headline on frame 2 on top because it's static, and then you have that bottom line scrolling through. And then you can do the same thing when that frame is done. It'll go to the next frame after that. Headline will still be static on the top, and then go to the second frame after that and display the second message.
Now the problem with doing it like that would be, let's say for frame 3, if frame 3 were 2 lines at the bottom, if you combine the 2 lines, wouldn't that interfere with frame 2, the headline?
It would, yeah. It would, because it's taking up a 2 line right here on the top, and if you combine it right here, it will cut off and create a display problem. So you want to keep in mind, again, we're working with the advanced frames, how you have it all set up. But you have that ability with the advanced frame where you kind of layer different text so it kind of stays static for you. And then you can kind of play around with presentation. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so that's what you could do with the advanced frame. Again, recapping, everything you control is going to be here on the top. As far as text color, background, fixed frame, individual lines, bold, flashing, random color text, shadow and outline. Now these buttons right here, this is more along the lines of some more of the advanced properties of the advanced frame. So let's get into that real quick. I had another frame right here. So right now I have an advanced frame, and now I want to get into this button right here, which is a token window. If I hit that on the advanced frame, you have that ability to add date, time, and temperature to your sign. Again, on the basic frame, it's just basic text. You can't really do anything there with tokens because it won't work. It all works with the advanced frame. So on a token, it gives you the ability to add date, time, and temperature to your sign. To do that, you hit this button up here, the little calendar button, and it brings up a token window. On this token window, you can choose time. So if you want a 24 or 12-hour clock, I'll hit that. So I'll say go 12-hour clock. And hit the AM, PM. If I want a 24-hour clock, just hit this one. It'll bring up the 24-hour. If I want temperature, just hit Fahrenheit or Celsius. If I want to add a date too, I could do like day name, day number, month name. So say I go with March, I'll do March abbreviation, hit the space bar, day number, comma, and then hit the year. If I want a different format, I could always do that by deleting this and just do month number, type in some type of divider like a minus sign or something, hit day number, and then the year. And all this information will be read off the CPU board of your site. So you want to make sure what you have as far as setup for a temperature sensor and the time is set correctly on your site. So with the advanced frame, you have options to add date, time, temperature as shown, and they work the same way, just like any other text. If you want to add animation or have them come in and leave at the same time, just hit the global function here, and then if I want to add animation, just do travel in, or any other type of animation. Like this is a full one, so I could pick like scroll up and then shift down, have it scroll up and then have it wait for 4 seconds and then have it shift down. So if you preview that window, it'll scroll up, wait for 4 seconds, and then scroll down after that. So it works exactly the same way. If you want to have it bold or shadow, it'll do the same thing. Just highlight it, hit the shadow or bold button or outline button. It works exactly the same way. So when I change the color of each one, I can do that too. I have that option here too, and it works exactly the same way with the advanced frame. If I want to add European characters or characters with accents, you hit the EU button right here. It'll bring up different letters that you can use with accents and such. Now with the variable button, it works more along the lines of, I've mostly seen it for like restaurants where they have a price, or maybe if you're using it like a gas price changer, where you have the 3 different tiers, and then if you want to change the price, let's go to that another advanced frame here, show you. Let's say add a price 1 here, price 2, price 3. And I got variables there. What it is, it allows you to choose 3 different prices for this. So you can keep it as a static, and if you just want to change the price here, you go to command, you go to advanced command, you go to send variables. And then it even works with scoreboards too. I've seen it work as scoreboards where you have a team 1 and team 2. And you have variable 1 for team 1 and variable 2 for team 2. And you just put in a score there and just send it out there. I'll just update just this section right here where everything else stays static. So you have that option for variables. I haven't seen it used that much, but I've seen some people use it. So not everybody uses it, but you have that option if you wanted to. So does anybody have any questions regarding the advanced frame? Okay, so let's get into creating backgrounds now. So let's recap real quick on the advanced frame. Advanced frame lets you control each individual line. Everything's going to be controlled here by this menu bar. It gives you the ability to add date, time, and temperature on the advanced frame, as well as you can layer different types of advanced frames on top of each other to present like a scrolling headline while other text is going on at the same time. So it gives you kind of different quadrants that you kind of control. So it's pretty much personal preference how you want to have it set up, working with advanced frame or basic frame. Now with backgrounds, it's going to work the same way for both the advanced frame and the basic frame. So I'll start with a basic frame here. I'll just add another frame here at the top, make it a basic frame. And you have a basic frame, you you're going to look up top here where the BK button is located, and you're going to hit the BK button that stands for background. So if I want to choose a background, just go to Browse File, and I'm going to go ahead and look, and I have a designated folder, but some of you might have your CD, and it comes in an animation library that allows you to use some backgrounds. So you just go into that CD or wherever you have your file saved and go into there. Like say I have mine under backgrounds folder. I'll double click that. I'm working with a color text which is about 24 high. So I have a folder here designated for color text 24 high. I'm going to click that and I'll see a list of example animations I have that I could use. So let's say I choose sun and hit open. And now I have a sun animation here. This little window is a preview window, and these up and down arrows let you preview the animation from start to finish. So let's say it's an animation I like a certain frame, I can choose that frame by typing in the frame that I want here. If I just want the whole thing, I'll do start to finish, start frame and end frame, keep the whole animation, and just hit OK. Once I hit that, you'll notice that the sun is here on that frame. Now it looks kind of different compared to how I had it earlier in the preview window. That's because I have it under stretch. If I put it to left justify, it'll keep it to its original size and put it to the left. If I want it to the right, I'll hit right justify, I'll move it to the right. If I want it in the center, I can put it in the center. I can put it to the top or bottom if I needed to, or stretch it out again.
Quick question though, I can only do that when I'm in basic?
No, the background is the same for both the advanced frame and the basic frame as far as moving it to left, right, center, and choosing a background.
Okay, what about also if I have like a 24 by 64 sign, can I use a background that's, you know, under the 32 or?
You can, but it'll kind of, you have to use this kind of stretch function.
Okay.
Because what I'll do, it'll stretch it to that size.
I get a little bit more detail as far as are concerned, but okay.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because if you try something that's bigger, let's go back here and hit BK again. I'll try something bigger. Let's go to like a 32 high. Actually, let's go. Yeah, I go with 32 high. Color. Let's go with a 32 high. We'll go with this cloud lightning at 32 high and hit open. You see that it looks kind of high up there. I hit OK. That's how the 32 high looks. If I stretch it, it'll stretch it down or kind of stretch it to the size or width. But that's mostly made for like a 32 high sign because the Sun's 24 is an extra 8 pixels.
Thank you.
So if I do the same file under 24 high, it's probably going to look a little bit different. So you notice that the cloud actually shows up now. It's a little bit smaller because it's made for a 24 high sign. So let's say I chose that, and then I want to move this one to the left, and I want to add some text to this. So this is a basic frame, so I can just put in my regular text. And I can put it to the right, or even to the center. Kind of make the text a little bit smaller. Add an outline to it. And I have my basic text here, and then I got my background in the back. And now the text is overlapping on top of it, so if I want to move it to the right, I can move that cloud to the right. If I move it to the center, I can do that. Kind of play around with that setup. If I want to have it animate too, I can just click on the left-hand side. We'll do an auto in and then wait for 5 seconds and then auto out. And I got my animation. For that frame. Same thing is going to apply with an advanced frame. I could do the same thing. Let's say add an advanced frame here. I'm going to hit the same thing, the VK button here on the top. I add a background to it. Say it's golf ball one right here. I hit OK, and I got the golf ball. It's kind of stretched out for that. I'll put it to the right. Actually, I'll put it to the left here. And with the advanced frame, you can't really change the justification just like on the basic frame. It basically stays in the center. So,
is there a way to change the like the T color or the graphics color, or not?
There is a way to do it. You have to open it through this graphic creator here.
Okay.
And it's pretty much tedious because you have to color each pixel and such.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to change it to my school colors or whatever, I could do it, but pixel by pixel, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the advanced frame, you can add a background and do your message here the same way. And it works just like a advanced frame. You just do your regular text. So you got your message come in with the animation in the background, and it'll leave after that and it'll go to the next frame. So does anybody have any questions so far? Now with the animations, you could also create your own. That's going to be in this logo creator right here. If you want to create your own animation, just go to logo on the top and go to Iris Graphic Creator. When you do that, it'll bring up another window, which is a graphic creator window. Looks like this. And it allows you to create your own animation. If you want to do a full screen animation, you just go to right click here and then do your resize and do the size of your sign. Right now it's automatically at 24 by 96 because that's the size I want. But let's say I want to have it smaller, like a 24 by 24 square. I'll hit OK, and then it works just like a flip book where you have one frame, you do new image, and it just repeats itself over and over. And if you want to create like an animation, you can do that by either, you probably have to go and do it by hand right here. That's what you're asking about the color of the golf ball. If you want to change it. So let's say I go back to that one I want to change. I go open file and look for that file right here. It's going to be under up. I go to that golf ball animation. You can see that the golf ball animation is here. And you pretty much have to change each color like so.
Oh, frame by frame.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait till I'm really bored for that one.
Yeah. But you have the ability to create your own animations just the same way by having like a flip book where you have each frame animate, and you save it as a file, and you can import it as a background, as an animated background. If you want to just do your own logo, let's say I do a 24 by 24, I'm going to import an image right here. Try something here. Let me find something to import. So I imported this NBA logo right here, or the NBA trophy. It looks kind of alright, but because of the sign size, if you try to import an image that's larger than your sign is going to try to compensate and cut it off. So for instance, I'm working on a 24 by 96. You try to import an image that's larger, like 3 megapixels, which is like about 3 million. You try to import a 24 by 96 picture. 24 by 96 is about 2304, 2000 pixels roughly. You try to import something that's like 1 megapixel, that's 1,000,000 pixels. So if you try to import that into a 24 by 96, what it does is automatically shrinks it down and tries to compensate for the missing pixels. So you want to, if you can, try to take your image and kind of scale it down as close as possible to your sign by using Paint or some other program to make it as clear as possible. Otherwise, you might get something that's blurry and you won't be able to import it.
But then the system can automatically adjust to make the best fit too, right?
It'll do that too, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say I like this logo right here. It's a 24 by 24 size logo. I'll save it. Put it wherever I have my stuff saved. I save it as a standalone logo. I could go back to my main window. And you could use that as a either a background, or you could use it as a part of your message. If you want to use it as part of your message, you have to use it at an advanced frame. The basic frame won't take the logo. Again, basic frame is just regular text. Advanced frame will allow you to take that logo and put it as part of the message. So I go and insert a frame here, make it an advanced frame, but I want to make it so it takes up the whole screen. I'm going to remove these divider lines right here and do logo and do browse and look for that. Save that. It might be a little bit big, but I was able to insert it, and it's part of the text. I think I made it larger than 24. But you can import that, and then it'll be part of your text too. So this text and then the logo is part of that message. So if I use the travel in, travel out, you can see that the whole thing strolls the whole, including the logo. If I want to delete that, just use that same logo as just a still background. I can hit the BK button and import that as a background as well. And now I have it stretch out. It does it automatically. I'll put it to the left, and it kind of shrinks it down for me. And now I have it as a background, and I can add my text there if I wanted to. So I could add the logo as a background, or if I use it as part of a message if I wanted to in an advanced frame. So I have that option as well. Does anybody have any other questions so far? Okay, so let's get to saving our message again. And let's say we're happy with our message here. We have our logo, we have it as a background along with our test message. We have some background messages playing. We got date, time, and temperature along with some of the advanced features of the advanced frame with layering along with the basic frame on the bottom. We like everything here, and we want to send out to the sign. So if you want to send it out to the sign, what you have to do is go up to the top here and hit this little globe button with a telephone as a hat. You hit that, it'll send it out there to the sign, and it'll keep it playing for 24 hours straight until you change it again. Now, let's say you want to schedule your messages to play at a specific time, rather than just having it sent out there without changing. This is where the schedule messages goes into play. So you go to command at the top, and you go to schedule messages. When you schedule messages, it'll bring up this window right here. Do you guys see that window? What this window is a scheduler window, and it allows you to choose the files that you created through the Iris program and schedule them at different times. So let's say I save my file, I say that today's date under Iris demo, and I want to play that from, say, today until the end of the year. So I'll hit new here on the far right hand side to insert a file. I'm going to choose a start time and end time for that. By default, it usually goes to today's date, which is the 2nd. I'm going to choose the end time and date. So let's say I want to have it play for the rest of the year. I have it go December 31st. And right now I have it playing from midnight to midnight every day. Let's say I want to play from a specific time. So let's say 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day until the 31st of this December. If I look here on the bottom, you'll see days of the week checked. Right now it's playing every day of the week. If I only wanted to play middle of the week, let's say Saturday and Sunday is going to be off, I have it playing from today until December 31st, 6 to 7, and I only have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday checked, so it's only going to play for those days. If I want to have it play the complete week, just do select all, it'll play everything until the 31st. If I just wanted to play Sunday through Wednesday, I'll uncheck Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it'll just continue on until the 31st, and only play Sunday through Wednesdays. So let's say I'm happy, I want to have it go for the full week, I'll do select all, and again it's playing from today until the 31st of December, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I'm going to hit browse, I'm going to look for that file I created. This is the Iris demo under today's date. So I have the file selected here, along with my start time and end time. I'll hit OK. And now I have it under the slot number 1. Slot number 1 is showing from 6 to 7 from today's date till December 31st. And it's going to be that file name, and all days of the week are checked. Now if I want to add another file in there to play at a different time, I'll just hit new here on the right hand side. And let's say I only want something to play for this month only. So the 2nd to the 31st of this month. And I want to play it from, say, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And only during the middle of the week. So I chose my start time and end time for that, along with the days of the week. I hit the browse button here. I'll just choose one of my other old demos. Let's say I choose this demo right here. And I got that playing from 2 in the afternoon to 5 p.m. for this month only, for the middle of the week. Everything checks out there. I have my file chosen here. I'll go in and hit OK. And now I have 2 files here slated for us to send out to the sign. One file to play from today until the end of the year, and this one's going to play only for this month. So basically you can keep adding files there until you have a complete list.
Question. So if my city ordinance, for example, says, hey, we want your sign to go static from 10 p.m. at night until 6 in the morning, where I would control that?
Now you can control it if you want like a static frame. You just have to create a new file with one frame, but you want to keep that static. Like say, did you want just a message out there, or like daytime temperature?
Yeah, let's say like time and temp.
Okay.
Something everybody would appreciate without a lot of flash.
Right. So what you do is you create another file with an advanced frame
with date, time, and temperature on there.
Okay.
What you do is save it, and then you just hit new and add that to the list. Let's say you want to have it to play from like 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. every night, right?
Right.
So I'll do 8 p.m. And then what you have to do, you have to break it up into two pieces. One for the first half of the night and one for the second half of the morning night section. So I got 8 p.m. to 11:59:59, and we'll have it indefinite time because let's say you want the same thing every day for a while. So I got my section here, 8 to 11:59:59, which is 8 to 12 basically.
Right.
I'll choose my file, like say no vacancy or something like that. And then that's one section. Now I got to create another section from today until the same amount of time. But this time it's going to be from 12 to like say 6 a.m. And then choose that same file again. And hit OK. So if I look at it, I got from 8 to 12 for the first part of the night, and then 12 to 6, the second part. You have to break it down into those two sections so the CPU board will know what day it is. It kind of flips over to the next day. If you have a big chunk in between there, it kind of confuses itself.
Okay, so the start date, you wouldn't change the start date. You would, okay, I gotcha. I think that's where I was going wrong before.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the start time, the dates are exactly the same. It's the times that are going to be key right there.
Gotcha.
So you got 8 to 12 or 8 to 11:59:59, and then that switch over needs that extra split second in between to go from 12 to whatever time, and then it'll play these files from that specific time.
Okay.
Now, if you want to have it turn off, you're going to be the same way, where you create a advanced frame. You create an advanced frame with just a blank, like a hit the space bar once, and you save it, and then you save it as a blank file name, and then schedule it at the same time that you want it to play.
Okay.
So as you keep going, you want to make sure you save the scheduler so you can always go back into it later on, because this is going to be your main schedule right there. That's going to be your like your reference for everything that you. So whatever you put in there, you have keep track of it along with the ones that you delete, and you just keep deleting and adding to this list, saving it all the time, and then sending it out there when you're ready to send out. You say command send schedule. And always keep that list in front of you so you know what you're sending out there.
Very good.
And you guys have any other questions regarding the scheduler? Okay, so that's how the scheduler works if you have multiple files you want to send out there. Let's go back to the main program again. You go to the main program, and then you're going to see, let's go over a few things here. Now under command, you see send, which is the same way as hitting that button on the top. Send as default message means it's going to send out a default message and keep it there as a default. Command again is schedule messages if you want to get back into the scheduler. You got preview frame or preview all, which is we went through already. If you have a connection to the sign and you want to view what's actually out there on the sign, just hit sign image viewer. It'll bring up a little window and show you what's currently playing on the sign. If you go to command and get sign information, it'll just give you basic information regarding current time and temperature at the sign. If you go to command and go to set full brightness, it'll keep your sign at 100%. So let's say one day your sign's kind of dim, you want to keep it and make it brighter. Just go to command set full brightness and it'll put it at 100% automatically. What you want to keep in mind is if you keep it at 100%, it's going to stay there until you change it again. So keep in mind, if you put it at 100% and leave it there, it's going to leave it at 100% until you send another message out or send another brightness schedule to it. Now, if you go back here to command and you set brightness level, that gives you an option to change it to a different percentage other than 100%. But keep in mind that when you send it out there, it'll stay there until you send out another brightness adjust. So keep that in mind when sending it out there. Under command again, you see set brightness schedule. If you don't want to use a static brightness setting, go to schedule brightness and it'll give you 2-hour blocks where you can set up the percentage from 0 to 100%. You can set it up in 2-hour blocks throughout the day, and it'll just keep that schedule until you send out a new one. If you go to command again and go to set auto brightness by photocell, your temperature sensor has a built-in photocell there too. So assuming that it's installed correctly and not in the way of anything or being covered, it'll read off the ambient light and adjust the brightness accordingly. So weather is always changing, so that's probably the best way to adjust the brightness according to what's picking up in the ambient light.
Quick question on that. Does it adjust immediately or like every 2 hours when you have it on ambient?
It's almost like real time, or maybe after a couple of minutes.
Okay. Well, if all of a sudden a storm comes through and it gets dark,
Yeah.
adjust. Okay.
It'll adjust according to what it reads.
All right.
Under advanced command, you have adjust temperature. If your temperature is reading a little off by a few degrees, you have that option by adjusting the offset plus or minus. That's under advanced command. Set variables is what we sent before. If you're like using a gas price changer or using it like a scoreboard, you send variables so you can send values to variable 1 through whatever in your message. Delete files not in schedule. Remember how you're creating that schedule and list of items in there? Even though you send out a schedule out to your sign, the old ones are still taking up memory. So if you're not using them, you leave delete files not in schedule, and it'll delete those files that are currently not being used by the schedule. Set sign stops ID or set information that's more along the lines of tech support. So you really have to worry about that. Along with update sign firmware, erase land flash, and reboot sign.
I got a real quick question to get on the schedule. Once I set up one item in the schedule, if that schedule runs out, the sign basically goes back to blank, right?
It goes to just a regular date and time on there.
Oh, it defaults to a date and time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you want to make sure if you're making your sign blank, but you didn't set up a blank message, it'll go to date and time at night. Let's say if you have your message play from 6 to 7, but you forgot to add the blank time after that, make sure you add something there. Otherwise, it'll just go to like a date and time on there. Under setup, you just have a regular setup for communication. And that's basically it for the IRIS program for the basic overview. Do you guys have any other questions? Yeah, that should be it there.
On the brightness function,
Right.
I mean, how much can we save on our pixel life by adjusting to the proper lighting? I mean,
We don't really have like an actual chart to see how much you save, but
it does have an impact, right?
it does have an impact if you're not running it 100% all the time. So it'll last longer. It will last longer. Yeah, so basically you want to keep it low brightness, usually at night, and then not 100% all the time, and then they'll extend the life of the pixels. You guys have any other questions so far? Okay, that should be it then.
Thank you very much.
You're always welcome to call in and ask any questions during our tech support line, or if you want, you could always join our webinar again. Basically, just repeat myself again.
Okay. No advanced webinars down the road?
Sorry?
No advanced webinars down the road?
No, yeah, maybe a little bit down the road, but for now, it's basically just go through an overview of the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
All righty.